wanted to, okay, so I like vintage knitting. I like the patterns, I like the things, I like to watch, like, you know, retropod and engineering knits. And so I have always been like kind of intrigued by the vintage patterns you can find online and stuff. And I saw this one. It's called the Evening Star Blouse. I did end up, oops, I did end up buying the booklet that it was first published in, which is Beehive's Hand Knits. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It is from October of 1950, and so I wasn't originally gonna buy this, okay, because it's for free. You can find the original pattern for free on free vintage knitting patterns, I think. I will link it down below. But I go there a lot for like vintage patterns. It's where I found the Star Trek sweater base that I used, and it's, you know, it's got some decent patterns, and there's a crochet version as well. So I found this blouse, which you can kind of sort of see. I'm so sorry. I will throw up a better picture. But I found this blouse and I said, I need to own that. But on Ravelry, it says that there's a project, but it won't show me a project, so I don't know entirely what that means. If like there isn't actually a project, or if they just said that. But I don't know. But I decided, how hard could it be? Really? Like, how hard could it be to knit? So I bought the book because there was a few things that were missing from the website. Well, that I thought were missing. I don't think they're actually missing. I think I just didn't know where to look. So I ended up buying the book off of eBay. That's also just so that I had a physical copy, because I like having physical copies with me. And even though I'm going to rewrite the pattern for the yarn I'm using, because I'm changing the gauge and all of that, I wanted to make sure I had like a physical version of the book so that I could like double check my numbers and stuff based off the website. So I am changing my gauge. So my first thing was I went and I picked, so the original pattern is knit with fingering weight yarn, and I decided I don't want to knit with fingering weight yarn. Not that there's anything wrong, it's just that's going to take me forever, and I didn't necessarily want to have to knit forever to get this blouse. So I thought I might just go up a size or two. So I went to DK weight yarn, and I picked the yarn out. I bought this really nice hand dyed, because I thought, if I'm gonna knit this blouse, and it's supposed to be like a nice blouse, I'm going to knit it with nice yarn. I'm going to splurge a little on this blouse for myself. So I'm doing this one. It's called Magruder. It is a local hand-dyed yarn to me, so you can buy it online. But this is the colorway Thistle. It's this really nice, slightly like variegated. This is my swatch. I made a swatch because I realized that if I'm switching the gauge, I should probably know how many to cast on and like do all my math with the correct gauge before I attempt this garment and mess it up and then have all of this really nice hand dyed that I messed up. But I bought this really nice Thistle. I think it's like really, it's very pretty. And so it's mostly stockinette, and then there's some ribbing, which is like a knit 2 slip 2 or knit 1 slip 1. I can't remember exactly. The pattern says knit 1 slip 2, but then it says to end on a knit 2, so I don't really know what's going on there. But this is my little guy. It's very cute. I'm very excited. But yeah, I made my swatch. My gauge is going, so the original pattern says to do an 8.5 stitch by 10.5 rows for an inch. Yes, my gauge is going to be 5 stitches for the stockinette by 8 rows, and then 5.5 by 9 rows for the ribbing. And I had to make that change because of where the ribbing sits, and you can't really see it in this picture. Also, this is the only photo I can find. The only photo I can find, sorry, of this blouse is the only this is the only photo. I cannot find an actual knit example that's not this photo. As you can see, it is the photo they put in the book. So that is the photo you get. Oh, that's why it blows out. Okay, it's the only photo you get. I lost my mind a little bit because then once I figured out my gauge, and this is blocked. So this is blocked. That's important to know. That's how I got it. So I bought 5 skeins of this. So we're gonna test it out. This is also knit in pieces, and I don't necessarily want to knit it in pieces, so I'm going to go bottom up, and we're just gonna split. We're only gonna knit half of it in piece, but it's the half that doesn't need seamed. So we're gonna knit bottom up, and then I'm debating if I want to do pickup sleeves or knit the sleeves separate and then sew them in. That we'll get to when we get there. Obviously, I haven't even cast on yet, but yes. So that's the next pattern. Next project is this beauty in this very nice color. I'm very thrilled. I'm so excited about this guy. But yeah, and then I think another thing I really liked about having the book is I got to look at all the other patterns, and so I might knit a skirt or something out of here as well. They have a bunch of other really cute tops like this one. Like this one. I have to be very careful because the book is falling apart and some of the pages have disconnected from their staples. Oh. But yeah, so we're gonna knit along, and I will come see you guys in a little bit. I had to do a bunch of math, which is not very exciting. It's just a lot of like basic, I need it to measure this much, how many stitches is that? So I'm not going to walk you through a lot of the math changes I did because I don't think they're exciting, but I will come see you guys in a little bit when I've knit, actually knit it, because I haven't even cast on yet, so we shall see. I also have to do some weird changes because I'm guesstimating my yarn, and you know, that's like a whole thing. It's roughly the same, I think, as what this garment is knit, what they suggest you knit it in. So we shall see. But I wanted to show you guys my next project, my next big project. But yeah, that's what I have so far, and I will talk to you guys in a little bit when I've knit more.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm making some progress. I've did the provisional cast on, and then I started at the ribbing, which I'll give you a look here. It's a knit 1, slip 2 ribbing, and I did that because the original pattern has you start with a little hem. It's not quite a hem because you don't fold it over and then do the ribbing. So it's like the ribbing is a little higher up on the blouse, but I was worried about yarn, so I just did the ribbing to start with, and then if I have extra, I will go back and add some of a hem, and then I knit the 13 inches of the body, and I am just working on the sleeve. That's about how much of the sleeve bind off I have, and I just have my notes over here, and so that is where I'm at. I'm working on the back first, and then I have the front held off on these, and then I'll pick the front back up off my barber cord and work on that before starting the sleeves. So surprisingly, it's going pretty quickly, and I will think it will block, so I knit to about 13 inches unblocked, but I'm guessing it's going to grow just a tad when I block it. But I can't remember exactly how much, so hopefully it doesn't block too much, but I tried it on the other day before I split the sleeve, before I split the arm off, the back bit, and it was fitting okay. I know it's going to grow about an inch, because currently it's measuring at 6 stitches an inch, and my finished gauge swatch was 5. So I know it's going to grow, but so far so good. I've only used about 2 balls. I have this much left of the second, so that's good. Leaves me about 3 full skeins, but yeah, that's all I've got so far. I'll give another update in a little bit.
Hi everyone, quick update. I finished the back. Look at that. You can't tell because it's not blocked, but I finished the back and I started the front. I did have to take a little break because I needed to do some math. So the way the pattern in the book has you do it, and I can show you really fast, is you knit. Obviously the back can be done solid, but because the front has such a deep V, they have you knit one side, and then you pick up the rest of the stitches that you have, like, I have them on some barber cord, but you could put them on like waste yarn or just like leave them on the needle. But they have you work one side,
and then you have us pick it up and do the reverse on the other side. So I'm going to do the reverse on this side, but I'm right now doing this side. Not so bad so far. Was a little confused by the instructions, but I think I figured it out. It's mainly weird because it has you do a bunch of decreases, and then at the same time on like the opposite side, it's like, hey, do an increase, and I'm like, what do you mean? And because there is no pictures, I'm a little confused, but I think I've worked it out, and I've split them in half. So on my like guides that I'm making for myself, the wrong sides are going to be the neck decreases up here, the neck decreases, and the right side will be the armhole decrease and then increase. So that's how I'm going to keep that separated in my head. That's how I'm going to do it. That's what we're going to do, is we're going to separate it. And so the wrong side, I'll do all of my neck decreases because that's just a simple like purl 2 together. I decided I didn't want to do like a purl or like a bind 2 off because I was worried, or like a bind 1 off because I was worried that'd look a little funky, especially because I'm supposed to go in later and knit this collar separate and then like seam it on. And so I figured if I just purl 2 together, that will solve my issue there. But yeah, the back doesn't look too weird. I think I'll show you it in a second here. Oh, I had it upside down. So the back arms, so this is the bind off that I did at the bottom, and you'll see it like kind of shapes in, and then it comes and it flares outwards, and I guess you can't really tell. Maybe if I hold it out. Yeah, so it does like a slight, it curves a lot. Well, not like a lot, but like a decent amount. So not too bad. I was worried that because I thought for some reason it was gonna be like 10 inches of arm, but it's not. When I measured this on the needles, it was like about 8. And when I hold it up properly, so when I hold it up with this side, it does seem to fit decently well. Like it fits a little under, so I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be okay. So far it looks like it'll fit all right, and I did try it on. I obviously had to move the numbers around because the numbers it gave me were for fingering, and I'm using a DK, and it was a whole thing. I did a lot of math, I did a lot of counting, and then I just did it. I just bound them off. So yeah, that's about where I'm at right now. I have finished the back, and I will get started on the front, and hopefully I can finish the front maybe one side of the front. I'm gonna give myself one side of the front to finish this weekend. This is moving faster than I thought, which I guess I should have realized because I'm using US 5s, and I have been pretty monogamous on just knitting this. So I think I can get one side. Let's try and get the right side done this week, and then we'll do and to you that makes no sense, but for me it's the week after Christmas. And we'll see where I get the rest of it. But yeah, that's I just want to give you a little update because I didn't want to like pop in and be like, oh, I finished the whole thing, the body is done. But I think with my next update I'll show you where I am with the right one finished, and we'll just have to knit the second one. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Hi everyone. So I finished the front. Don't mind the bottom, I haven't blocked it yet, but here's what it looks like. And I'm just starting the sleeve. I have about this much left. I probably will have some extra yarn, which is fine. But I've got the seams all sewed up on my shoulders because I knit it in pieces. Surprisingly, the top is not, like, it fits very well. I'm a little surprised. I'm gonna block it once I finish, but it shouldn't grow that much more than it already is. Just have 13, okay, so I have about 3 inches here of my sleeve. I just need to go about 10, so I think it's gonna end about here.
which is a good length, a fine length. And then I have to do the collar and the cuffs. But I think I'm going to change the pattern because they have you seam them on. And I was looking on Free Vintage Crochet last night, which is like the sister website to Free Vintage Knitting. And I saw a bunch of like kind of cute, kind of dated. I mean, they're dated, but they're kind of cute still. Crocheted collar ideas. And I thought about making some of those so that I can like spice it up a little. I can like change the blouse out and be like, oh, well, I need just like a laid back one. I'm going to have the like regular collar, or, oh, I want something a little dressed up. I'm going to make like some other, like a cuter collar. And I'll have a bunch of that left over. I have some Knit Picks merino. It's like the bear one. So it's I could dye it a different color. I could leave it white. And it's a fingering, or not a fingering, it's lace weight, so it's thinner, so it might look kind of cute because it'll be like a nice like contrast. Although I'm worried that the contrast will be too much with like the variegated kind of color. I do think, without blocking, that I might want to add a little bit of length to the bottom because, as you can see, so my regular shirts end about here most of the time. Let me put that down. But the blouse ends like right at the belt buckle, which is a good length, I guess. It like fits perfectly fine. It's like a perfect, but I think for personal preference, I'm gonna add a little bit, at least an inch, so that it like kind of covers the belt, because then it'll look like those, and I don't know. Not that I'm gonna be pairing this with shirts underneath. I just put this on because I just needed. I already was wearing the shirt, and so I was like trying it on just to make sure that my sleeves. But I'm gonna start my decreases for the sleeves, I think. But yeah. So I've also changed it up because I picked up all the sleeve stitches on my sleeves instead of knitting them separately, because I decided that since I knit it bottom up and then just like split the front in half, I figured it'd be easier, since I've already seamed up the sides, to just pick the stitches up and knit them. So hopefully that works okay when I go to block. I think it will be. But yes, this is where we're at after one New Year's weekend. It's still sliding up, but it looks good. It fits great. Can't wait to finish it. Hopefully I can finish it by the end of the week. Hopefully. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. My last post where I first so I'm not sure exactly when this is coming out, but when I'm filming this, the last video I released was my like 2023 whip wrap up, and this will probably be the next video after that. I wasn't expecting to get, 200 views, and you may be saying, oh, 200 views, that's not that many. It's a lot to me, okay? It's a lot to me. So very glad that you guys all took the chance. If you're back, if you saw the last one and you came forward to see this one, I'm glad that you're all back, and I can't wait to show you the rest. But yeah, just gotta finish the sleeves. Hopefully I can finish them this week, but I'll see you guys probably when I've finished the sleeves, because they're gonna be boring and repetitive. But see you later. Hi everyone, I have something really exciting. I finished the sleeves, but not only have I finished the sleeves, I blocked it. Look at this. Okay, and I'll pull it up. I don't have the collars. I did, so the pattern that I did here, let me move the camera so that this is a slightly better angle. Okay, sorry, I wanted to sit in a better spot so we could have like a better discussion, a little wrap up. Oh, why am I? Okay, don't know why the light looked like that, but whatever. So I thought we could have a better wrap up discussion. As you can tell, it doesn't look exactly like the reference photo, which I'll put up here. And I think part of that is I switched up the yarn I was using and a lot of the numbers, but I think it like gets the overall shape pretty well. I did change a few things about the pattern, namely because I changed up my yarn, I had to change all the increases and the decreases and where you put them. I also switched up from knitting it in pieces and seaming to like in the round bottom up. But I think overall, like, it fits the vibe well. I did switch it up. So I had originally cast off the stitches and they were very loose because the bind off I was using was a stretchy one. So it was a knit, you like knit two plain and then you go and you knit those two that you just, so you'll like, you know how when you do, this is really weird. It's a stretchy bind off and I can't remember the exact name. It might be like Jenny's super stretchy bind off and I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. But you knit the two and then you take the two that you knit them so they're on the right needle and then you like knit the right two needles stitches together so that it's one, and then you like knit one more and you do the same thing. So it's not less pull it over and more knit them together, and it makes a stretchier bind off, which I thought would be helpful because I was worried that they wouldn't, like, my regular bind off wasn't stretchy, and I was like, well, I don't want to knit this whole thing and then have to undo the bind off just to like be able to fix it. And I was knitting them, I picked up my stitches and then knit them in the round, so I was very worried that I was gonna have to like undo a lot and then have to re-knit part of the sleeve, and I was like, listen, I'm not gonna do that. So I did the stretchy bind off, so I knit the bind off, and then I was like, oh my god, this is so big. Like it was like massive. It was like hanging, because you can see how big the sleeve is. Like the sleeve on the pattern didn't look like this, so I was a little concerned. So I did I slip stitched every other stitch, and you can kind of see the bumps. So I did a slip stitch in every other stitch, and then a row of single crochets, and then a row of double crochets, because as I mentioned, I'm going to make detachable collars and cuffs. The pattern originally just has you knit the collar and cuff and then like attach them, but I thought, oh, it'd be really fun because then I can dress it up, and also it looks fine without the collar and cuff, especially because I did the same double crochet treatment around the neckline, which I think really helps tie it together. And also just will make it a little bit easier when I go to like make the attachable collar, because then I can sew my little snaps onto my double crochets and then be able to hide it with like a little ribbon or something. But I need to go to Joann's to get that. So it's finished. I think it looks good. It did grow a little bit when I was expecting that, so like honestly I'm not mad at the growth it did do. I did find that the ribbing I did at the bottom of the knit one slip two honestly didn't really do anything. It's not like shrinking, because when I knit the pattern, my math expected it to be like an inch or two shorter than my bust, but like I expected it to grow in the bust area because my stockinette was, as we noticed, my stockinette is like smaller or larger than the ribbing. But like the ribbing, I don't know if it's because I did it in the round, it didn't really do anything. It like stretched out the same amount, so I don't really know what to do with that, but whatever, fine. And the provisional cast off was a bit of annoying, so maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have just left it at the ribbing, but I did it. I unpicked it all. It took me a while, and I added an extra inch, and honestly I could have just done without the ribbing, so not really sure about that. But I think I can hide it easily enough. I can like tuck it into my pants if I really hate it later. The block is like mostly done, so maybe I shouldn't have put it on, but like it's cold here and nothing's gonna dry for a few days, so whatever, it's fine. Maybe if I wear it, it'll dry a little faster. It's not like uncomfortably damp. It's not sopping wet. I washed it last night. I blocked it last night and I laid it out, and it laid out all night. It's just snowing in North Idaho, so everything's gonna take forever to block because I never turn the heat on. But yeah, other than that, it's done. It's finished. Took me just a little bit longer than I expected. I was able to bind off everything last night, which was Sunday the 7th. So honestly, not that much longer than I hoped, but yeah, I think it looks really good. I like it a lot, and I think this yarn just kind of like adds like a fun little moment because it's a very plain, like it's all stockinette, so it's very plain Jane little top, but I think the variegated color really sells it for me. I think it's good. I'm excited. I like it. I think it fits a little better now that I've blocked it than it did before. Like it fit perfectly fine. Like it was like a tight fit, not really like a tight, but like it was fitting, and it had less ease than I have now. But I think I like the fact that it's a little bit looser of a garment, but that's my personal preference. I also like that it's evened out my sleeves, because before the sleeves were like tucked in and they looked funky, and I like that it has smoothed them out. Also, my sleeves used to be stuck like right up here, so I like that it's added a little bit of length. Honestly, I'm not mad because I knit it to like my elbow, but I'm not mad about this little extra bit. Honestly, I think it looks nice and it adds to the, like, you know, kind of fancy vibe. I don't know, but yeah, I will try to have the cuffs and collar done for next week, and I have a different vintage pattern picked out for an alternative one because I wanted to be able to, like, you know, mix and match. So maybe we'll try another collar for next week, but I will see you guys in that one whenever it's done. We'll see how well I go. I do also have a bunch of shawls I need to knit, so need to knit those by, you know, like August, September. So we'll see how many extra collars or whatever I get done. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think it looks really good. I'm very excited about it, and I will see you guys in the next one.